All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to another HRAI webinar or clicking on the video on our YouTube page. Either way, we're glad you're here. Today, we have Lee, who is from Support Ontario Youth. She's going to be talking us through one of the programs available to HVAC employers and how to engage the next generation of talent. So we have a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. Just some housekeeping items to get out of the way first. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to be lurking in the chat and question and answer, just a little forum down there on the bottom of your screen. So put them in there. We will have time to get to those. Otherwise, you can watch this video, like I said, on the HRAI YouTube page after the fact. But I will now bring on Lee and Melanie to say hello and introduce themselves.
Oh, sorry.
This is Melanie.
I'm here. Sorry. Hi. My name is Melanie Winter. I'm the Executive Director at Support Ontario Youth. Leah and I, in a rare twist of fate, happen to be in the same office today. And so I decided to come on and say hi to everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar to learn more about SOI and about what we do. Leah's going to go into much more detail about who we are and how we can help the members of HRAI. We do a lot of work currently with Climate Care Co-op members as well. And I know some of your members are members of both. And so some of this may be somewhat familiar, but we're really, really excited to share more about the supports that we have for employers and apprentices within the apprenticeship system, and to be able to share expertise that might be of value so that hopefully we can work together in many other facets down the road. I always say that apprenticeship, while a crazy space for a lot of in terms of being able to understand it and navigate it, really is essential to us building the bench for the tradespeople that I know you need for your businesses moving forward. And we try our best to simplify it. And I've believed for a very, very long time that we are not going to be able to build those benches and or fill those trade gaps unless we do it in partnership. So I very strongly believe in organizations like ourselves working with as many other partners as possible to be able to fill that gap and that need for the labor that we know we need for the next 15 to 20 years. So without further ado, if that's all right with you, Matthew, I'll turn things over to Leah.
Please, and I will get out of your way. So again, if you'd like to ask any questions, you guys are okay if I just pop on and ask the questions, or do you want to save those to the end?
I think Leah's okay if they come during.
If questions come in during the presentation, that's absolutely fine. I don't have a double screen today, so
yeah. So Matt,
you
have to pop in and say there's a question.
Yeah. No
All
worries.
right.
I'll get out, and thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm just going to pull up my presentation here for everybody, and we'll do a share screen here. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. Sure, thanks. Thank you so much. Okay, so my name is Leah. I'm the Director of Workforce Development at Support Ontario Youth. I have been with the organization for almost 3 years. Just a quick little brief about my background is in my 20s, I did actually start in a skilled trade. So I was in aesthetics, working in the spa industry in Niagara Falls. Funny enough, I didn't actually really know I was in a skilled trade really until I started working here. I spent about 10 years working as a law clerk in employment law, labor relations law, construction law. So definitely got to learn some of the background of what happens in the industry. Moved on into getting a HR management post-grad, and then came over to SOI and have worked my way up through this organization. And now I'm the Director of Workforce Development. So it's pretty amazing. We do a lot of really great work with our organization, as Melanie was talking about. Just see if I can switch slides here. Okay, so a little bit about our organization, just to give you an idea of everything that we do. So we are a not-for-profit organization. We are a registered charity starting in 2018. We do have authority through the province of Ontario to register and sponsor apprentices in 13 different skill trades, which I'll go over next in our next slide. So we are called a group sponsor. So again, what that means is we are able to register and sponsor apprentices on behalf behalf of the employer. That way, what we're really doing is taking that administrative burden off of the employer's plate. We all know it's a different pathway to manage as an employer, especially if you're more of a small to medium-sized contractor, where maybe you don't have the time or the resources or the administrative staff to really deal with those ministry phone calls, dealing with Skilled Trades Ontario and getting those apprentices registered, collecting all the documentation that comes with getting those apprentices registered. So we essentially were created to take that administrative burden off of the employer's plate, so we can register and sponsor those apprentices and provide a wraparound support system to those apprentices. And so we do that again by raising awareness of providing guidance and resources to those employers and apprentices, different educators. We do design, develop, and deliver different programs across Ontario. One of our initiatives is to go into different school boards and be able to provide enough tools for those guidance counselors, different staff educators, OEAP coordinators to really understand that apprenticeship pathway, what it takes to help support those students while they're in high school, how to talk to their parents. So that's been a huge goal of ours over the last year. We go in and do these day workshops for those staff educators to bring more awareness into the trades. We do a lot of guiding of our apprentices. We support over 500 apprentices in those 13 different skill trades. So we have a lot of support going there. Lots of ways that we can help the employers. We can help you hire. We can help you pre-screen, candidates that you're wanting to come in. We can help with all that register. Thank you. And that training. I'll move on unless anyone has any questions at this point, just about.
We are good to go.
Pardon me?
You're good to go. No questions
Nope,
yet.
good to go. Okay, perfect. So these are the 13 trades that we are able to support. Welding, actually, we just got approval for welding, but the ones that obviously would matter for this call would be our 313D residential air conditioning and systems mechanic, as well as our 313A refrigeration air systems mechanic, and our low-rise sheet metal 308R and our sheet metal 308A. So we do have a dedicated program manager that deals specifically with those trades, and she's the one that supports those employers that are part of those trades, as well as those apprentices. So there is always somebody that we have dedicated. It's okay. Always somebody that we have dedicated to each of those trades. There's always a program manager working. We also have licensed journey people on our staff that work as mentors. So any apprentice that is part of our organization will always sort of have this additional person that they can reach out to if they have any technical questions about the trade. They can provide tutoring support to some of those apprentices as well if they're struggling when they're leveled schooling. So just know that every trade that we do have, there is a support system built in for those trades. We also work with a third-party organization called Fit First Technologies. This is how we recruit. We use this internally for our own recruiting purposes, but we also use this as part of how we support employers who are within our organization wanting to bring on new staff, whether it's a general laborer, whether it is a gas tech or someone wanting to pursue an apprenticeship pathway. So with this assessment, so it's an online assessment, it's a behavioral assessment that was created using this third party and human analytics. So we're all born with 26 personality traits that just define who we are as people, and this assessment that is created is able to really hone in on those different personality traits and really find that fit for the trade. It's not a pass or fail, it's not a test. It's really meant to help us identify those candidates based on who they are as a person, who's really going to persevere through the tough days, because we all have them. And so with this assessment, it does give us a fit score. So anyone who completes it, the higher that score is, the higher that tells me that this person, based on who they are, would be really successful in that trade. So there are multiple different assessments that are linked to multiple different trades. These were created by taking some of the top performing journey people, taking some of the bottom performing journey people, and out of that, you're kind of getting this bell curve of what traits do these individuals have, and what can we create an ideal candidate out of that. So using that, if you needed some help with recruiting, or perhaps you had someone that you wanted to hire, we would be able to put them through that assessment and find out if they indeed would be a fit for the trade. Now, the lower their score is, that tells me that they are likely going to get pushed significantly outside of their comfort zone in order for them to be successful in that career pathway. I tend to use construction electrician and industrial electrician as an example, because although the skill sets are very similar for both of these trades, the environments are very different. And somebody who maybe loves working within a team environment would be better suited in an industrial trade rather than in construction, where they may likely be working more solo. Perhaps they're not someone that likes to be out in different weather conditions, where industrial, they may be more inclined to succeed in working within the indoors. So these are some of the things that this assessment can sort of help base on that fit. And then it also gives us a critical reasoning score. So again, based on how this person has filled out this assessment, that leads us to believe with that critical reasoning score, will they be able to think outside the box? Will they problem solve? Can they troubleshoot? Kind of where is that level of initiative, and how is that going to sort of transfer over to that job site, into that job when it comes with that critical reasoning. So this is an assessment that, like I said, we use this internally. Every person who's been hired by Support Ontario Youth has completed this assessment. All employers who do decide to, put someone through this assessment, you do get a career report based on how that person completed the assessment. You'll be able to see their fit score. You'll be able to see where they score on the different 26 personality traits, as well as it does offer you an interview guide. So if someone scored a little bit lower on an area, you would be able to have questions that have been created based around that. So you would be able to ask those behavioral questions. So that's a part of what we do at Support Ontario Youth. We also, this year, so we are funded through, partially funded through the Ministry of Labor. So we use a skills development fund. And part of our new funding for this year is we've created a skills trades workforce development program. So again, anyone can come through this program as long as they are over the age of 18. Ideally graduated from high school. It really could be anybody throughout Ontario. We do have this throughout Ontario. Part of this program is running tools in the trade boot camps. If any of you have ever been familiar with the tools in the trade boot camps that run out of Support Ontario Youth, it is a try a trade day. We are always looking for partner organizations who would like to run and host a boot camp. Although we do facilitate, and it is part of our funding, we really need organizations that would like to host a boot camp. I like to call this sort of a working interview. So all walks of life apply to be able to come in. They do fill out that assessment. So we already know that we are getting people coming into these boot camps that are a fit for the trade. Everybody gets a free toolkit. Everyone gets lunch that's provided. Half of the day is spent doing an employability skills workshop. So we really are giving them those essential skills that we find and that we hear a lot from our employer base that we work with are a bit lacking in some of the people that are coming on to their teams. Communication, that eye contact, anything that really falls under that soft skill piece. We do provide a workshop for all of those attendees. The other half of the day is actually spent doing a trade specific activity, a demo where they're using those tools. So when we do HVAC ones, that we are usually partnering where we do have an HVAC facility that they are able to do those specific activities with those tools. And again, it's a way for employers to come out, network with the candidates that attend. It could be great hiring opportunities, even if, again, you are just hiring for that general labor force just to start out. If you're not looking for those apprenticeship opportunities yet, it's a great way to really get out there and network and meet some of these candidates to help build your bench. And then we also provide safety training through our learning management system. We have lots of different trade specific information courses that they can learn about the trade, what would be most successful on day one with the boss, what kind of PPE do they need to get started. So that's been a really big initiative at Support Ontario Ontario Youth launching the Skilled Trades Workforce Development Program, sort of in conjunction with our Tools in the Trade boot camp. So if anyone on this call is interested in learning more about how they could either attend a boot camp or perhaps a group of employers want to get together and be able to host a boot camp, it's definitely something that we can talk about, and I can get you in touch with our boot camp manager. I do see a question. Matt, did you want to grab that question for me before I move forward?
I'm so sorry, I don't see the question. That was me just asking for
it's
questions.
the chat. Oh, I'm
So just
sorry.
a reminder, yeah, we've got a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you'd like to participate, or there's a chat, and I'll keep monitoring those for you.
Okay, perfect. I'll keep going then. Thanks. So as a group sponsor, just sort of circling back to really the main hub of Support Ontario Youth. So again, on the employer side, we can help you with recruiting, especially with us running these Tools in the Trade boot camps. We do identify those really standout candidates that attend, and our goal is to be able to upskill those attendees and be able to sort of create this hiring pool of really great candidates that are ready to work and get started. And then, we can develop those apprentices, make sure that they're coming in with all of the things that you need, WMIS, workers' health and safety awareness, all of that stuff we can help support. And then on the apprentice side, the reason why this is such a great thing for employers is such a huge retention tool. For anyone on this call who has gone through the apprenticeship pathway, you know that you're kind of in it alone sometimes. Yes, you have your employer, they're there to help support you and train you, but sometimes when you're off doing your leveled schooling, you may not have that similar support. That's what we provide. So we not only are going to register your apprentices and help support them and provide them sort of this management system there of apprenticeship, making sure that they're getting to completion. Yes, we hold a registered training agreement, so it is our name that is on that RTA. So if you're ever in situations where, unfortunately, and it happens, you have to lay an apprentice off, there's nothing that you need to do in terms of that registered training agreement, because Support Ontario Youth holds that active RTA. We can continue to support that apprentice and help them hopefully find a new employer to move on to. In those cases, we do provide that apprenticeship journey support and guidance. As I mentioned before, everybody gets a program manager that they can reach out to and ask questions to about the trade. Everybody has a licensed journey person that they can also reach out to for that support. We also have a female journey person on our team as well. So if anyone's got a female apprentice out there, they would get that extra added support as well, with having a female apprentice that they can connect with, as well as their technical mentor. We're the ones that facilitate all that communication between the ministry with Skilled Trades Ontario, because we're the ones that are gathering all those documents and getting that application together with Skilled Trades Ontario. That's something that you don't have to do. You don't have to sit on that phone call waiting to get in touch with a ministry rep. We will do all of that on your behalf. We have one ministry rep that's dedicated to Support Ontario Youth, so we do have a very quick turnaround when it comes to getting our registered training agreements, getting those questions answered as well. We have an operations team working very hard in the background to make sure that apprentices know when those offers of class come in, that employers know when those offers of class come in, so that can create that open discussion to have with that apprentice whether or not they can leave and attend school. So we do help with some of that facilitation, although we're not the ministry, so we cannot control when apprentices get into school. We can definitely help making sure that they're getting those offers of class when they do get emailed in. A lot of times they go to junk mail. So we always try to make sure to have those communications with apprentices, that they are being accountable and that they are looking for those offers of class when they come in. And then we do, oh yeah, go ahead.
We have a question.
Yeah.
From Brad, who would be the attendees of the boot camps?
In terms of like who's applying?
That's the question I know Brad wants to clarify, but maybe who's applying,
Yep. So as long as they're 18 plus, and again, they do go through that assessment. So we are looking for candidates that do have a higher fit score. Sometimes that doesn't always happen if we're trying to fill a boot camp. Attendees for that, again, would be all different walks of life, 18 plus. It could be people that are already in the trade and wanting to switch. It could be people that are looking for those second career opportunities. It really just depends. We see a lot of different people come through in terms of who's coming out. Some have some skill sets already and some don't. And then in terms of employers, any employers that are looking to hire are welcome to come out. So we mostly run the boot camps in the HVAC trade, electrical, plumbing, and millwrighting are our most popular ones. So you're welcome to come out to those boot camps. Every morning we do have a networking period. So the boot camp usually starts at about 8:30. And we do have, usually we look for about 4 or 5 employers to come out, talk about their organization, talk about pathways to employment within their organization. And then you do have an opportunity to network with the candidates that come out, get some resumes. You can stick around if you want to see the first group out doing some of those hands-on activities. And again, you can kind of treat it a bit as a working interview to see sort of who stands out for you. I hope that answers that question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So just sort of reiterating a little bit about, where employers and SOI stand together. So it's really important that we let employers know, we're not here to take your place. We're not the employer. We don't get involved in the employer-employee relationship. We're really there to help manage the apprenticeship pathway and answer any technical questions with respect to apprenticeship leveled schooling, anything like that to sort of help bridge the gap for them. So like I said, we don't get involved. Even our licensed journey people know that as well, that if there's any questions that do come in, with respect to anything to do on the job site or with the employer, that's not our lane, that's not our space. We're there to answer questions with respect to apprenticeship and other, we can encourage them to have open discussions with their employer. We have had apprentices say, I'm a third year and I really want to talk to my employer about a wage increase. How do I do that? That's pretty much as far as that goes for us. Otherwise, we're not involved in that relationship. Matt, you had a question? There was a question coming in?
My apologies. I don't want to.
No, you're good.
Another question from Brad. Is there a cost to the apprenticeship, to the apprentice or employer to register an apprentice?
No, there's not. So because for a very long time we were funded under a special group sponsorship funding. Now we're with the skills development funding. So we felt that because SOI was built off of a group sponsor, that it was incredibly important for us to be able to continue supporting that group sponsorship. So no, there is no cost, but we are a registered charity. We're always accepting donations. You would get tax receipts if it was something you wanted to support. We do have different sponsorship packages. We do have different events that, we just recently had a golf tournament in our name. If you're all familiar with Highmark, they had a charity event for Support Ontario Youth last week. And so, you could come out and sponsor one of the holes. So yes, what we do is no charge and no cost to employers or apprentices to be a part of our organization, but we are always open to donations and support so we can continue to run that group sponsorship. So I hope that helps with that question as well. When you're with Support Ontario Youth, if you are receiving, tax credits and things like that through the government, because we are not the employer where there's no exchange of money in terms of apprentices, though all of those things still belong to you as an employer. When it comes to what are next steps with Support Ontario Youth, if this is something you felt was the right move for you, we would send you a memorandum of understanding. This is not a legally binding document. It's just an agreement to say that this is how Support Ontario Youth is going to help support you as an employer, that we will be registering and sponsoring your apprentice. Our name gets on that registered training agreement, and this is the supports that we provide, as well as that, you will provide your support in terms of, hiring them, training them, paying them, that kind of stuff, that regular employer relationship. And this is how, we sort of support each other. And then anytime you want to register an apprentice, you would just let that program manager know who's dedicated to that trade that you're looking to register an apprentice. We would send you a link to just all you would have to do is click on it, fill out that apprentice's information. That comes to us and we immediately reach out to that apprentice and start working with that apprentice directly to make sure that they are filling out their application for apprenticeship, that they're giving us all the documentation that we need to help support that application. We're the ones that will put that into Skilled Trades Ontario. We do have our own STO account. So we'll make sure that that application is getting in there. We're making sure that, we're signing it, the apprentice is signing it, that the ministry is signing it. And then once that registered training agreement has been signed by all three parties, that the apprentice is getting a copy, as well as the employer has a copy of that RTA for your files. And then we just, we assign them a mentor, and we continue to support them as long as they're with an employer who is a part of Support Ontario Youth. That's the big part of being a group sponsor. If an apprentice decides to leave that soy employer, unfortunately, we would not be able to continue holding that registered training agreement unless they ended up moving over to another soy employer, or they landed somewhere and that employer decided to join our organization. A lot of times they do end up joining our organization when an apprentice moves on, but sometimes that employer will just end up taking over that registered training agreement. And if you have any existing apprentices that are registered with you and you want them to receive the same benefits that other apprentices get, we can also transfer that existing registered training agreement over to our sponsorship as well. So that's really what we do. It's a very easy and simple process once that memorandum of understanding is signed. And as mentioned before, we do become that contact for the ministry as well as STO. And again, we can help you with any apprentice and hiring that you need as well. Okay, so just sort of some statistics of where we are. So far, we have, registered over 974 apprentices. We've helped over 344 employers. We've done over 200 boot camps. We have so many different educational and training community partners. Helped people get to completion. We're the ones that do all the paperwork. So when you do have an apprentice that's getting ready to complete that certificate of application, become a journey person candidate, and move forward to writing that certificate of qualification, we will also be there every step of the way, completing all of that paperwork, getting that into the ministry, making sure the apprentice knows, where to call and pay for that exam, where to call and book that exam. And we can offer, again, some of that technical support, some tutoring support, if they need to touch base with anyone on our team to help them get ready. So there's lots of wonderful things that we do with our organization. This is just a highlight of some of the partners that we do work with. So Climate Care Highmark is a huge partner of ours. Napa Auto Pro is the association that we work with for all of our motive power needs. So we've, we're continuing to grow this partnership platform and bringing on new collaborations with different associations. So that's my spiel about soy. Open to any questions that anyone may have about what we do or how we could support your organization. Let me know.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Leah.
You're welcome.
While we're waiting for questions, how can people reach out again? Just do you have a contact we can put up on the screen, or I can put in chat?
This is our Director of Stakeholders and Partnerships. So you could contact Sally Harvey. You can contact myself. Actually, I will drop that in the chat as well. That's probably the easiest way to go here.
Great.
I'll put that in here.
Now that we have Leah and Melanie online, if you'd like to ask them any questions or follow up through this contact, they'll be happy to help. And she's just putting the email in our chat as well. You can also, well, to the people watching this right now, if you'd like to pass this on to your coworkers, your colleagues, this video will be on HRAI's YouTube page, so you can get the information off of there. Otherwise, I think any parting words for our viewers?
If anyone's interested in possibly coming out to a boot camp, if you've got some hiring needs right now, you can check out our Tools in the Trade bootcamp website, which will let you know what HVAC boot camps we have coming up. I know we're running one at Highmark next week, as well as we're running one, a multi-trade of electrical, plumbing, and HVAC as well on the 22nd, and we'll just continue to have those boot camps posted. So if anyone is interested, you can reach out to us, and we'll make sure you get in touch with our boot camp manager if you're interested in coming out to attend a boot camp and talking about your organization and pathways to employment. We do ask, though, that hopefully that you are looking to hire, and that's why you're coming out to boot camp, so we can get these people into employment.
That sounds great. And as Brad mentioned, we will be forwarding contact info for SOI to attendees after the fact. Andrew said, it's worth mentioning the relaunching of HVACcareers.ca. And maybe he can join us for a second. I know he's lurking in the background. Maybe we can get a little cameo.
There is.
Yeah.
Hey, what is
Hi, Brad.
about this? Yeah.
Thanks for getting the ball rolling with the questions, Brad, and thank you to Leah and Melanie, of course. We talked about having this webinar, pardon me, a number of months ago, and I'm really glad that Matt and the team at SOI were able to put it together. I'll just mention that quickly. Also, HRAI has, as Leah mentioned, been partnering with SOI in the past. And in my role as the workforce development manager here, I plan to bring this forward even more so. And so we've already been in consultation with one another, and I see there's going to be a lot more opportunities for HRAI to bring the services and the potential partnerships that are available to all of our HRAI members, getting involved with organizations like Support Ontario Youth. So this is not if this is the first time you've been hearing about Support Ontario Youth, I hope it's not the last. HRAI will be continuing to forward and creating awareness of the opportunities and the benefits, through partnership that we can provide our own members for their efforts to bring on, recruit. I find the recruiting aspect of what SOI does very interesting. With regards to workforce development, it's a very, very important element and very timely. But there's a lot more too as well. And as I say, we're going to be partnering to bring more benefits to our group. As I mentioned, HVACRcareers.ca will be relaunching in the fall. If any of you are familiar with that, you know that it is our HRAI subsidiary, if you will, brand that will be used to motivate and bring new individuals into the HVACR career of families. So we really look forward to getting that launched, and I hope everyone will, stay around for that. I think there will be, again, good information in there to help employers hire and retain their apprentices. So yeah, that's all I would add. Thanks very much for the cameo there, Matt.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but I thought you could.
Not at all.
So
I'm never lost for words, so that's
there you go. Awesome. Let's put it there then. We've got the questions in, and thank you so much, Leah and Melanie, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.